CJ Pearson, it's funny, 6 months on, leftist media still cannot cope that Donald Trump won. And if you watch outlets like MSNBC, this is their suggestion to the Democrat Party over how to win over young voters.
You're advising a Democratic politician on how to speak to young people and how to get them more engaged in Democratic politics. Do you say they've got to run on tax hikes? Is it a Bernie Sanders-style campaign where you say, I'm going to tax the billionaires? There shouldn't be a billionaire class. There should be more equity. Is it a Democratic socialist campaign? Is it what Zohran Mamdani is doing?
I think those messages are on the right track.
I mean, when someone as radical as Zohran Mamdani is the new face of the Democrats, I think they are in trouble. But before I get your thoughts on what the Democrats should do, what's your assessment of the mainstream media over in the US and the role it played in the election? We saw CNN describe Donald Trump's assassination attempt as a fall. MSNBC kept calling Donald Trump Hitler on repeat. I mean, what's going on with the media in the US?
These people just don't get it, and I think they just seem so committed to acting like clowns. It almost makes you want to go to every newsroom in America and just hand them a bunch of balloons. It's getting absolutely ludicrous. But, I'm okay with the media not getting it, because every single time they show that they don't get it, the American people were the same way in which they did in November. They resoundingly come out and support President Trump. When they spread all these ridiculous, baseless conspiracy theories about the president, the American people rejected it. Why? Because no one trusts people anymore, because all they know how to do is lie.
Well, someone else who still doesn't get it is axed MSNBC host Joy Reid. She's now launched a YouTube channel where she invites guests on to discuss the dangers of the MAGA movement. Look at this.
Some of the other like pundits or podcast people starting to shift and say, this is good about MAGA or not. And I'm like, you're being so short-sighted. This is not a good movement to be attached to.
No.
This is not. I can tell, and I'm saying that because I'm a Democrat and a liberal. No, I'm saying it is a toxic, dangerous, anti-American, anti-democratic movement.
Yeah, I don't think they're convincing anyone. But Joy Reid also went on Piers Morgan Uncensored recently, where she, of course, had to claim that Donald Trump ran a racial identity campaign, and the ICE deportations that are being carried out are not about removing people who are in the country illegally, but it is all about race.
Masked federal agents sweeping up cooks, abuelas, people who work on farms, picking up dishwashers, any brown person. And Tom Homan said, based on one criteria being their appearance, it's overwhelmingly brown and some black people. We're not seeing them sweeping up white folks on the street. Donald Trump ran a racial identity campaign. And yeah, this is America. That is appealing to, unfortunately, a lot of Americans.
Well, actually, it turned out to be very appealing to Latino Americans who voted for him in record numbers. More Latinos voted for him than voted for Kamala Harris, the non-white candidate. More Black Americans, African Americans voted for Trump this time round than first time round. So for
Not
this,
true.
for this,
Statistically, it was the same.
No,
the same number of Black Republicans voted for him. That's always
more Black Americans voted for Trump this time than last time.
Piers Morgan is correct there. More Black Americans voted for Trump last year than in 2020. So Joy Reid just doesn't want to accept the truth. Why are we still hearing this fake narrative from people like her?
Joy Reid is in absolute denial, and it's probably why she's unemployed, to be quite frank with you. But I'll tell you what I actually saw here in the States. I saw Black and brown Americans lead the Democrat Party in a way in which we've never seen before. When I went to Black barbershops, when I went to Black churches, I would often ask the question, what has the Democrats done for you lately? And every time I asked that question, they would scratch their head and say, you may have a point there. And so I think that these people are in denial because they're just so scared of what the reality of this actually means. If they lose their grip on the Black community, their grip on power absolutely fades away. But another thing that actually drives me crazy is that Donald Trump is doing exactly what he said he would do. I know it's kind of a crazy thing for a politician to actually deliver on their promises, but Donald Trump said he was going to secure the southern border, and deport illegal aliens. Black people support it. Latinos support it. Why? Because we're American citizens, period.
Yeah, and he has the mandate to do it. He's delivering on his promises. This week we heard from Joe Biden's son, Hunter. He sat down with YouTube personality Andrew Callahan, where he unleashed on the Democrats. Let's just take a look.
David Axelrod, who had one success in his political life, and that was Barack Obama. And that was because of Barack Obama, not because of David Axelrod. And David Plouffe, and all of these guys, and the Pod Save America guys, who were junior speechwriters in, on Barack Obama's Senate staff, who have been dining out on the relationship with him for years, making millions of dollars. The Anita Dunns of the world, who's made $40, $50 million off the Democratic Party. They're all going to insert their judgment over a man who has figured out, unlike anybody else, how to get elected to the United States Senate over 7 times, how to pass more legislation than any president in history.
Oh, he is unbearable, but he has seemed to have offended the Pod Save America guys. They've responded to Hunter Biden, reminding him that he's a liability and should be ashamed. Listen to this.
You know what I mean? It's just this sense of entitlement that, like, from Biden, from his family, from the inner circle, that he was, like, owed the presidency, owed a second term. It's just very grating.
But one thing we know is that Hunter Biden, throughout Joe Biden's presidency, was a terrible liability for him. And put the addiction aside, it is because he was on Burisma, because he became an artist, because he was part of a kind of like sleazy Washington that, as Tommy said, people hated. You were a liability. You should be ashamed of the ways in which you made your father's political life worse. And like the idea that we're going to listen to you now, like, give me a break. It's ridiculous.
But in a sign of just how desperate the Democrats are, The Atlantic has put out a piece claiming that Hunter Biden's recent interview unveiled a straightforward, pummeling aggression that the Democrat Party has been missing. So are the Democrats actually considering making Hunter Biden the face of the party?
These people need help. These people need help. I don't even know where to start with unpacking this, right?
Yeah.
You have Hunter Biden going off, on the Pod Save America bros, who now are starting to sound like they're auditioning for a primetime slot on Fox News. Where was that energy being critical of Hunter Biden during the election when we were saying that he was a liability, when we were saying that he engage in a pay-for-play scheme and use his last name to unduly benefit from the role and office of his father? Where was that energy then? But now when Hunter Biden comes for them, they have, all the bad things in the world to say about him. But also, too, I welcome that Atlantic piece. Thank God for it, actually, because if the Democrats are this dumb that they think that making Hunter Biden the face of their party is going to lead to electoral success, then they still haven't learned their lesson. And if the best that they have on their bench is Jasmine Crockett and Hunter Biden, then Republicans are going to probably run this country for the next several decades, and thank God.
Yeah, well, look, either Hunter Biden or Zohran Mamdani, which was suggested on MSNBC. Do you have some free advice for the Democrats? Because it seems as though their party and its brand is just going from bad to worse.
I think so. Absolutely. My advice with them would be simple: is actually go out into real America. Leave your cozy apartment in New York City. Leave LA and actually go to Alabama, go to Georgia, go to Ohio, go to all these swing states that President Trump won resoundingly, and go talk to real people and ask them what they think of Jasmine Crockett and Hunter Biden. And I think they'll tell you exactly what they think, and it might just be a little different than what they actually believe.
CJ Pearson, RNC Youth Advisory Council co-chair, thank you so much for joining us on Power Hour. Brilliant to speak with you.
Thanks for having me.